Rabiji, there's this one thing that you spoke about, that we are fighting within ourselves, amongst ourselves with language. Uh, Coming from that space, do you think musicians throughout history have had a sense of responsibility towards the music that they put out? Because like you mentioned, music does play a role in building or breaking society depending on how you use music. वो sense of responsibility कम हो गया है?
यार देखिए, जब आप कोई गाना लिखने बैठते हैं उस वक्त आपकी एक ही responsibility in my view, which is to be an artist, and by that I mean you need to really be aware of what art really means, and it could mean different things for different people. For me it means to just get to the core of what I truly feel in this moment. Let me just say the truth of my moment. And hopefully in that truth is also contained the truth of other people around me. And so it has to be, I mean, many people have said different things about art. They have different definitions. But I like what Hemingway says about it, which is, and he says, whenever you're in a, whenever you have a mental block, then write the truest line you know. I've benefited a lot from applying this axiom. I feel most artists have to, understand the difference between art and craft. Craft can also produce art. Every now and then you can find a shoemaker who makes a shoe so beautiful you think this is art. It's worthy of being put in a museum. But craft's chief function is its utility. It's utilitarian. Art, on the other hand, has to think about moral compass. It has to point north. It ideally, I mean, there's also great art which drives people apart and still is somehow art. Like quite a bit of Tarantino stuff is. I mean, art is every time you try to put a box around it, it somehow finds a way of pole vaulting out of it. So, but generally, in my view, it is you have to go down into your own being and mind the truth. It's a difficult thing. It's a very interior thing, and I don't think too many people are interested in going anywhere. Even if they wanted to go, they don't know how to go. Or we are surrounded with a crisis of mediocrity. Frankly, there's no other way to say it. It's not to say that I'm great and everyone else is mediocre. I'm not great. I'm not the best singer out there. I mean, I think Sonu Nigam sings rings around me. I'm not the best guitar player. I think Sambit Ramachandran would, blow me out of the water any day. I'm not the greatest producer. I'm not the greatest lyricist. But I hope I have, I've tried to be uncompromisingly, brutally honest with the stuff that I've tried to put out there. Just said what I really felt at that point. And that is what I see also in the great music that India created in the 50s and 60s and in film music. There is great consistency, there is simplicity. It is talking to the people. It is brutally honest. It's trying to help grow or help forward the project of Indian values. I'm not talking about Indian conservative values, but just Indian linguistic values, cultural values, and just help them come into the modern age. And there is some beautiful music that came out in 50s and 60s. I cannot say enough. I mean, it forms the Some people might say it's the backstory of their life. Some might say it's the bedrock of their life. And there's this crazy amount, and there is Indian instruments in it. There is you can see the Indian melody in it. You can hear India in it. You know, and now I hear America in our music, and it just is also there because we largely use English to communicate with each other. It has replaced other languages. It has become a screen of keeping out the crude and the primitive. I mean, I go to my teachers, my kids' parent-teacher meeting, and I say, "Why do you use English so much? You know, why is English so much spoken? I mean, and these are expensive schools. You pay, you know, crazy amount of fees." And I say, my kid is going to feel at odds with India itself after going through all of this. And you're just acting like a visa facilitation center. You're preparing my kid not for a life in India, but for a life in America. And that's the reason almost everyone in middle class just wants to go out. The music is not for India. The education is not for India. Our aspirations are not for India. Our aspirations are all for us. And in all of this is India is an afterthought. What happens to the guy, pumping gas or coming to work in my garden or pressing my clothes, or it's an afterthought. If it somehow reaches him, somehow enriches his life, it's a bonus. It's not the primary focus. So we are living in very individualistic times, and I think music has a responsibility to really frame the question. It is the music somehow foreshadows the politics of the future. So that's all. I think I think I've said it.
Radio City.